Hello, I'm Debbie Smith. As you can clearly see, this isn't Travis. Unfortunately, he's unwell this week, so I'm standing in at the breach. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of VOTV Extra. Here we go. My first guest is Joey Blake. He's here to talk to us about the very exciting Voice Kids. We're now going to have a chat about the Voice Kids. Of course, Lauren, season 5.
That's right.
Ella, winner of season 9.
Yeah.
Thrilled. You must be over the moon. I'm thrilled to bits.
Well, as you would have seen the performances this week. I think they both absolutely nailed it. I haven't seen Lauren for a while now, well over a year, but obviously I've seen Ella more recently.
Yeah.
It is amazing because for Wales to be lucky enough to have one, on VOTV and this network to have one, but to see more than one, make those, it really goes to show how incredible their talents are. And obviously watching them back, I think they've done not just themselves proud, but everyone. As you've seen across social media, everyone's like just overexcited through the roof, on how well they did. And it is amazing to see, to go from, seeing them develop, because they're still young, they're both still youngsters, but seeing them develop and learning these things, and then to see them on something like this, giving it everything they possibly can. It's just amazing to see, and it is a privilege to know these young talents and to see them grow and blossom, and into this sort of thing. And there's hundreds of youngsters at the moment coming through. There's so many of them coming through and wanting to come into the business and have incredible talent. So it is fantastic to see.
Yeah, I was amazed at the talent that we saw over the 3-4 nights. It's been unbelievably good, I think. Yeah,
I think in general, obviously this is series 2 of The Voice Kids after last year, and I do feel like this year I've seen quite a few that I've been a little bit surprised with in how developed they are already at a young age, and even some of the 7 to 10 year olds, I was a bit like, wow, like
really
incredible.
Mature voices,
and it's amazing to see. But again, back into Ella and Lauren, Lauren, to see how far she's come on, and that performance was stunning, absolutely stunning. It was so, you could see the passion was there, the feeling was there, her control was incredible, and one of my favourite songs too, All I Want, Codaline. So she nailed that. And then Ella, I mean, that sass, the minute she walked down the corridor and she was like, and dad was like, make sure you smash it now, and she was like, I will. It was like, her confidence is incredible, for somebody so young too, and she's so determined to succeed. And that shows in her characteristics and how she is as a person. And she will. I got no doubt she will succeed in life,
Absolutely.
And the same with Lauren, such a special talent. But along with all of them on there, I think there's some incredible talent. And I'm so glad that they decided to bring the Voice Kids to the UK. Because, you know, it was going on all over the world, and everyone was doing it. And to see it come to the UK, it goes to show how many youngsters under the age of 14 are just super talented. You know, it comes at any age. So yeah, so I'm proud and I'm happy with what I've seen.
So Joey, what do you think the future holds then for Lauren and for Ella?
I think the future's really bright for them. I really do. I mean, for them to even make it to the show out of all the thousands of people, it goes to show that they have something that stands out to the TV industry. So I do think this will only open doors for them. You know, their blind auditions are being viewed thousands and thousands already. And you never know who's behind that screen and who will see that, you know. I do think the future's bright, and hard work is very important, and they both got that. They both work hard, they both thrive on success, they want to be an artist, they want to be in the industry. So I think that's what's going to get them there, and I do believe they have bright futures. You know, with VOTV coming in again this season now with The Voice Kids for next year, the 2019 series, we've had a lot more come forward, a lot of kids that have gone forward for it, for the next series next year. So fingers crossed we are going to see a few of them on there. I mean, there was 2 on there this year. There was more than 2 from Wales Mind. I think there was 4 in total, but 2 that obviously I've worked with. But to see, I think there's going to be a lot more next year. I really do believe that. There's been quite a few that's already been pulled forward that have caught the eyes of them ready for next year. So fingers crossed that'll pay off, and we'll see a lot more of them next year on the next series.
Fantastic. Well, I'm very proud, and I know you are too.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that. It was really good for you to come out from behind the camera.
I know, it was nice to be out from behind the camera, to be honest. Deb, I just want to also say, while we're here too, thank you for stepping in for Travis, because Travis is ill at the moment, as we know, but is you know, this is a big thing too, because you've never done anything like this. But
I probably won't again.
No, but thank you for stepping in also.
And here's a clip about today's difficult subject, Alzheimer's.
Remember all the things we wanted, now all the memories they're haunted. We were always meant to say goodbye. Even with our fists held high, it never would have worked out right. We were never meant for do or die. I didn't want us to burn out. I didn't come here to hurt you. Now I can't stop. I want you to know that it doesn't matter where we take this road, but someone's gotta go. And I want you to know you couldn't have loved me better, but I want you to move on. So I'm already gone. Looking at you makes it harder, but I know that you'll find another that doesn't always make you want to cry.
And our next guest is Denise Phillips. She's talking to us about Alzheimer's, her personal story. Hello Denise, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to talk about something that's very personal to you. There are many people who are going to identify with your situation. So I'm going to ask you to start at the beginning. How did your journey with Alzheimer's and your family begin?
Well, it started about 2.5, 3 years ago. Found out my mother had Alzheimer's, but prior she had had it a good few years before. Anyway, I'd heard of people with Alzheimer's. I've been to the nursing homes, seen people with Alzheimer's. But when you're in and out of nursing home, you know, you just see them and you don't really understand what's going on. So when the family was all told that my mother had Alzheimer's, well, to be honest, first of all, I thought, right, I can get through this. Easy as only my mother, you know, I can get through this with her, it's nothing. Not expecting what I was expecting along the way. So it started off, my mother was forgetting, putting things down, saying someone was stealing her stuff, normal things, but she still remembered the names. She was walking around, you know, done everything normal.
Yeah.
But gradually, it just started to get worse. She was putting things where she shouldn't be putting them, putting things in different drawers, wrapping up everything in tissues. And then that was fine. But then the hardest part was, I would say in the last 5 months, my mother have deteriorated, that she knows none of us, you know. By name, when she come in, she just look at us, we start talking, she'll argue at times that we're not her daughters. Very, very hard.
That must be very hard for you and your sisters.
Yes, it is. It is, I gotta be honest. I'm trying to keep on reminding her and tell her how much I love her, and that for her to remember, I wanted her to remember me, but it doesn't work that way. You have to remember them, and with the outbursts, they can get very violent. But we decided between the 4 sisters and my 1 brother that Mum would stay at home. We wanted till the last breath in her body. With Alzheimer's, you go on with Alzheimer's many, many years.
Absolutely.
And as I say, the Alzheimer's 95% doesn't kill the person. It's the underlying, where my mother got full heart disease. Now she's in the last stages of Alzheimer's. She's starting to lose the last use of her legs. The last part of the brain is just about to go, and she's having a lot of the pains from the heart, where we was all expecting. So we're waiting, just waiting. You've got the phone by the bed, you're waiting for, you know, one of my sister brothers to ring me. You know, when I have my mother on a Thursday and a Saturday, which is a privilege. I go up any time I want. Yeah. But them 2 things are so special in my life.
You have it to yourself, those 2 days.
Yeah, that is just me and her.
Yeah.
And the memories, you know, that I can keep hold of. Yes, it's been hard. There've been a lot of heartache, a lot of tears along the way. A lot of times I've thought very selfish in the beginning. Oh, I can't go up and see it again like that. Not because I didn't want to see Mum. I didn't want the illness. I didn't want to see her like that. But then you change your views on things as you're going along. It's been an up and down journey, a very up and down journey. Like I said, very emotional time for all of us, all my sisters and brothers, but it brought us closer together, dealing with Mum.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do, is give them all the love, you know, and all the care as you're going along. And when it's their last days, you know in your soul that you've done your best.
It's not fair. I'm talking to you upstairs. Are you there? You know I care. So please don't tell me that this is an empty prayer. Oh no, 'cause 'cause all she has and all she's lost. I wish you could remember. I watch you fade and slip away. It's hurting more than ever. I miss her, even though she's still here. You need to listen. Don't let her disappear. I'll give her my forever. If it meant for a day, she could really be okay. 'Cause I miss her, even though she's still here. Is this pretend? Will she really not know my face in the end? If you're a friend, show me how to heal it when she can't even feel it. Please, show me. 'Cause all she has and all she's lost. I wish she could remember. I watch you fade and slip away.
So Denise, you've explained that you, your sisters and your brother are sharing the responsibility of your mum. Do you find there are times when all of you just feel that as a family you need more help? And is there anything out there for people?
Many a times we've had meetings about bringing qualified nurse in, because it's our mother, and you experience things differently. You know, we can see everything that's going on with mum, and sometimes it is so hard emotionally for the family. But also the nurse that comes in, she says, well, she's not going to know anybody. But we personally, ourselves as a family, mum wouldn't want anybody else into her home, even though she doesn't know now who's coming back and forth. Then, you know, she wouldn't want anybody else in there, and we abide by what my...
You respect your mum, as she
It
was.
is hard.
Yes.
All my sisters and brothers, they all work. You know, they have their own houses. I hold my hands up to all of them have been wonderful. But Sharon, my eldest sister, she's absolutely amazing. She's a carer herself. She's cut her work down to 2 days a week. She has mum most of the time, and the evenings are very, very hard. You're up most of the night with them, incontinent, you know, and everything. How she does it, I do not know. She needs a medal. She really needs a medal, and all of them have given mum. She couldn't have no better care. So bringing someone else in, you know, it wouldn't make any difference, because we give her as much as what we can do. We have had to have help along the way, you know, emotionally to cope with things. My other sister Tanya, she was an ex-nurse, so she brought booklets and everything for us to read. But that didn't make any difference. Seeing it, you know, with your own eyes is totally different.
So Denise, you have a supportive family. You're a knowledgeable family. You have nurses, carers. When someone's on their own, it may be a husband and wife who are caring for one or the other. It may be an only child caring for a parent. It may be a friend caring for a friend. Would you give some advice to those who would be looking? Where would they look for this sort of help?
Well, there is lots of help out there. First of all, there's the main thing is joining the Alzheimer's societies.
Right.
There's lots. Then from there, they will give you the information with people that can come in and help, give you a rest. Even in the beginning, take with the symptoms, take the people out. There is lots of help out there.
Good.
You know, it's a lot of people tend to take all these problems on themselves in the beginning. I can handle it, you know. they've only, you know, lost a little bit of their brain, you know, they're just forgetting, that's all. But it gets worse.
Yeah.
And someone that is on their own and have no family, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what that person must be feeling and going through.
Yeah.
But there is a help out there, and there's lots of help. It's so well known, Alzheimer's, which I didn't know myself. As I said, I'd go into the nursing home, see people there, oh, they got Alzheimer's. I didn't understand it.
Until it affected you personally.
Until, my family personally. And then, you know, we looked into things, but there is plenty of help.
Good.
And the Alzheimer's nurse will put you all on the right track. So whoever is out there, you know, on their own, or need extra help, ask for it.
So does the GP put you in touch with an Alzheimer's nurse initially?
Well, normally when you go and you're diagnosed with it, Alzheimer's, yes, they give out information, you know, on things, but a lot to come away from the doctors or the hospital, and they still deal with it themselves. Because early stages, just losing memory. I mean, I lose my memory every day, you know. So they carry on until it is so much pressure, you know, that some people just can't cope with it.
So, as you just said, we all lose our memory. I do, you know, and I think as we get older, we may even joke and say, oh my God, I'm Alzheimer's, which is probably hurtful for someone who is going through it, but we do that. We say these things. Would you advise people then to, as soon as they get the diagnosis, don't feel that you have to cope alone? Don't be ashamed of getting help, because the help is out there.
Oh yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Get the help there and then, because it's not the first stage. When you come up to the third and the fourth stage, it is well, there's not a word. There's not a word in my soul to describe how terrible it is. And the emotional is worse than the physical. The emotional side of it, you just don't know what to do. You don't know what to do to give, you know, to make things better. I know me and my sister have had many meetings, and you know, my family, and I've always said, I never thought I'd feel like that. If I could give my life for my mother now on this spot, I would give it without any hesitation. You know, it is hard, but if it's hard for us on the outside to see, I can't even imagine how my mother must feel inside, this thing taking over her brain, you know. And my mother was one hard, tough woman, you know. To see her now as she is,
it's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking, yeah.
You're sort of losing your mum, even though you haven't lost her.
You've
lost the woman she was.
We have. We just look at it.
It's a form of grief that we live in, really.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And people say, well, you're going through the grief now, you know.
Which is hard to get your head around.
Yes, it is.
Distressing.
It is, and especially, like I said, you're constant. You've got the phone there. You're waiting for the phone call. Like I said, me and my brothers and sisters have got a Facebook page now where we all keep in touch every day. They have mum. We all ask, you know, how's she been today? Have she been eating? You know, and we keep in contact all the time, you know, to make sure what's going on. But like I said, in the end, you've got to deal with what is best for mum. You know, and like I said, with my mother, she got full heart disease. We're lucky to have her with her. They don't live more than a year. My mother had lived 5 years.
So a strong woman.
You know, very, very strong. So, you know, we know that is the heart. Now she's starting to have, you know, the pains constantly and have to be taken back and forth to hospital. But now, you know, there's no resuscitation now with mum, which it was hard for all of us to agree to. You know, for the hospitals, we all had to, you know, vote. I know it sounds terrible, but vote.
I understand that completely.
But psychologically, you know, oh God, we got to give, and my mother's life over, you know.
But you're doing it for your mum.
But
this isn't for you, it's for your mum. It would be cruel,
yes,
wouldn't it?
Yes, definitely.
They resuscitate people of her age, they break ribs. You know, she would end up with more issues.
Well,
isn't guilt a cruel thing?
Definitely.
We go through so much guilt in situations like this.
Yes, definitely.
And you're here to say don't.
Oh yeah, definitely,
don't feel guilty.
Definitely. Yeah. You know, my mother wouldn't want us to think that. If she could say what she needed, my mother would say, you know, put me out.
Let me go.
Put me out. It's cruel.
You have certainly made me feel that if I was in your situation, I would know how to cope better. And I think knowing what you have said, that you've done the best you can for your mum, if people know that they've done that, that's all they can ask for, isn't it?
Definitely.
You know?
And you do get through it.
Of course.
Because the word where people used to say, love conquer all. And by God, love conquer all. When you love somebody with every inch of your body, you get through there, you come to the end of it, you know, and you do. And like I said, don't feel embarrassed to ask for help. It's not a bad thing, you know, to ask for help, or even just for, you know, yourselves. If you need to talk about it, if you know your emotions, because they are the hardest. When you keep all them inside, you know, all them emotions, how you feel, because well, for me to say, it's hard, emotionally, to cope with what is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, we've been kept up all the way through. We know all the stages, every little thing that's happening to her, you know. So we know now that is, you know, we're not going to have Mum much longer, you know. So we all making the most of the time with our Mum, you know.
So Denise, I'd like to thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. I'm sure that there are people that it's going to help so much. It's helped me, and I'm very grateful to you.
And promise me this, where she goes, everything she sees will set her free. The tin and the color green. Promise me this, that she knows that the people that she loves will love her in the skies above.
So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for VOTV Extra. Well, welcome to VOTV Extra, both of you. Michael Williams and the lovely Kaylee Noakes. Both of you were in season 9 together. Fantastic season. A couple of really special people in there. I can say that because my son was in there. So anyway, Michael, tell us a little bit about your experience of season 9.
Season 9 for me was a very talented season. It took me 5 seasons to come along to VOTV, as everyone quite knows now. Joey mentioned it enough. But no, when I first arrived, still nervous, really nervous. And in fact, it was Travis I first spoke to. He was the first person I spoke to there. It was an amazing experience from the go. Obviously, everyone getting to know each other, and then obviously getting up on stage and performing. was a completely different experience to anything I've ever done, but it was an amazing season.
Yeah, I remember you being very nervous. But you did it and you got there, and it was, I think, quite a pivotal point for you, wasn't it? From then on, things got better, didn't they? Tell us a bit about what's happened since.
Yeah, as you know, obviously it was an amazing experience for me. But since then, you know, I've gone on to do so many different things throughout the music industry, coming back and obviously doing some work with Joey, gigs, and then performed my first festival recently as well. That was an amazing experience. But yeah, it all relates back to VOTV. If it wasn't for VOTV, I wouldn't be where I am now. So yeah.
What would you say to another young man thinking about taking that first step in the industry?
I definitely wouldn't advise them to wait 5 seasons. No. It's not the right thing to do. Get it done as soon as you can, because as soon as you get your foot in the door, there's so many options and avenues you can explore. Yeah. I'd get it done and then just push yourself out there and do what you can.
So you'd recommend VOTV to another young man?
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. Thanks, Michael. I'll come back to you. And the lovely Kaylee. Kaylee, you were in season 9 as well. What was your experience as a contestant?
As a contestant, I obviously entered many seasons, auditioned for quite a few things. Season 9 was the season I got the furthest in, the season where I actually pushed myself to learn new songs, new genres, songs that I didn't like, songs that I didn't know. But yeah, I also had the chance to make some great friendships that I still got now. I met Michael there also, and we had a couple of rehearsals together, and we had a chance to just share our journey as we both was awarded on the same night. So it was kind of cool, you know, to share a journey with a friend that I still talk to now. Yes.
Well, I can vouch for that, because you and Travis are still friends. We're friends, and that is something I love about VOTV, the camaraderie, the support. But now we see you every week, and you are right-hand woman to Joey on the camera. How are you enjoying that?
Yeah, it's a different experience myself. You know, I long time ago I did lots of media things, but to take something back up and to learn like new things about, you know, camera angles and different like camera effects, you know, it's been great. But also it gives me that opportunity just to watch the talent that they've got now. And not be worried about myself and how I look myself, you know. There's been some great talent through the past 2 seasons that I've filmed, and there's been some really good friendships as well. You know, I think with VOTV and the way it's going at the minute, it's like a strong network in that sense.
Definitely a support network, I agree.
Oh yeah, and it's in my view one of the best around at the moment. You know,
there's nothing else like it, is there? Let's be honest. You know?
No, there's nothing that comes close to it. And to be honest with you, I don't think I would have had as much confidence if I didn't make friends. So it is really good. And as a camera woman. I am enjoying it, you know, just to watch from the sideline, just to film and then have people come up to me, have you took my photo tonight, you know, and they, you know, it's been just a great experience.
Well, I must say you're a very much well-loved character, and you're talking of your confidence coming on. I've seen you leaping over chairs, standing up on all peculiar angles to get the shot you want. You wouldn't have done that a while ago, so it's really good to see Kaylee develop into this amazing young woman, and we're all really proud of you. Thanks so much. Personally, you're both of you now, where do you personally want to go next? What dreams and aspirations have you got? Michael?
For me, it's just to keep growing. Obviously, when I first started, I never thought I'd be where I am now, if you get what I mean. So like, before I done VOTV, I done like school concerts, all that sort of stuff. I'd done nothing apart from VOTV. And then when I entered VOTV, coming out and obviously getting to the semi-final, coming out to VOTV, going to like gigs and then performing at the festival. Recently done the X Factor as well, which I would never. I got the second stage and they called me back straight away. He said they loved me and they wanted me to do a second stage. I'd done the second stage. Ain't done nothing back yet, but it's still a step forward rather than 2 steps back. And then October, coming back to VOTV to do another season as well.
Wow, that was that. No one tells me anything, so that's really good to know.
Yeah, coming back October, I spoke to Joey.
Yeah,
and we decided it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just go from there and see what happens.
Yeah. And build even further.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Obviously, go further then. Yeah.
Wow, welcome back in October.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Kayleigh, I know you've just graduated as a mental health nurse, which is fantastic. Well done from all of us here. Thank you. As far as singing, camera woman, do you want to go further? Are you looking forward to anything else?
In regards to my music and singing wise, at the minute I'm quite enjoying the recording side of things. I'm enjoying looking at new songs that inspire me and just perfecting them to my happiness standard. And you know, and just doing the odd charity do now and again, and the odd gig now and again, you know, just as, because I see it more as my therapeutic time for myself, because obviously I work.
And you certainly need something for yourself in that sort of a job. You need chill out, something that you can enjoy.
Because I use music as my getaway.
It's your therapy.
In regards to the camera side of things and recording, I am currently working on, like, still aiming to still be the camera woman for the next couple of seasons. I am also learning new things in regards to editing, and you know, which is something that was an old interest, but now I've relit a little bit of a fire, and I am quite enjoying it. Brilliant. So yeah, I just looking forward to just learning new things and just see where I go.
So you're not leaving us for a good while yet. We're pleased to know that.
No, not for a while.
So one staying, one coming back. I think that's a real testament to what VOTV family is. So thank you both very much for being here. Thanks.
Thank you.
And that's the end of the show. Thank you all for your support. We're going to play out with the very lovely Kathleen Jenkins. She was in our season 3, and we're going to hear her 2018 show reel.
The control, the breath work, everything fantastic.
Wanted, but I bought them for you.
You've got this God-given talent, and the world needs to hear it. Something about you that really moves people.
Oh, you're gonna take me home tonight. Oh, down beside that red firelight.
I think you're really, really special, Kathleen.
Becoming rarer and rarer to find people who are genuine and who sing with heart.
Couldn't drag me away.
Someone who's just got it.